Hi friends, welcome to my channel. First of all, I want to give a huge thanks to the photographer of this picture for capturing such a stunning image. Today's painting is inspired by this photo which shows the sunrise and its reflection on a building in a city. Or is it sunset? Honestly, I wasn't sure at first. I even asked an AI about it and it suggested that it could be a sunset. What do you think? Sunrise or sunset? I started by marking the perspective and lightly sketching it with a pencil. Now, I'll use a Unipin fine liner 0.1 mm to outline the drawing. As you can see, I'm holding the pen lightly. Later, I'll add bolder and thicker lines with a dip pen and waterproof ink. Let's start painting. I'll begin with the sky. First, I'll paint the upper part with ultramarine blue, then apply a wet-on-wet mix of Hansa yellow and cadmium red to the lower part of the sky. We had the sunlight reflecting on the building, creating a warm golden glow. To capture that effect, I started by applying a smooth, even layer of Hansa yellow across the area. After that, I focused on painting the darker sections of the building to bring out more depth and contrast. Here, I used yellow ochre for the next layer. I made sure to let it dry completely before adding additional layers on top. I decided to use my large round brush today. I bought it online, and when it arrived, it was way bigger than I expected. At first, I thought I'd never use it, but it turned out to be so useful for today's painting. The rooftop of the building below doesn't catch any sunlight. There are no yellow or orange tones. It's just dark. So, I'll use ultramarine blue to show the darker shadows. I didn't draw every single detail of this building. Instead, I simplified it by removing some parts and making small changes to others while sketching with the pen. I wanted a brown tone with hints of red and orange to match the sunrise's warm light. Most parts of this painting have an orange or reddish tint. Mars brown naturally has a reddish undertone, but I needed more red, so I adjusted the mix. For very dark color, I mix sepia and ultramarine blue. I use more sepia to keep the tone leaning toward brown. Here, I used English red, but this isn't the final layer. After it dries, I'll glaze a diluted layer of ultramarine blue over it to match the darker surroundings. The cityscape was quite dark. including the lower parts of the building. I painted these areas with the same mix and plan to add another layer if it needs more depth after drying. On the second layer of the wall beside us, I used the orange I created by mixing cadmium red and Hansa yellow. After it dried, I applied ultramarine blue over it. I added some of this orange tone to the window panes of the building across from us, but left the middle of the building unpainted to highlight the sunlight's reflection. I wanted to keep that area brighter. I painted the lower windows completely dark. I've included the reference photo here for you to see. Squint your eyes slightly and look at the image. You'll notice that the lower parts of the building are dark. The upper parts are brighter, and the middle stands out the most with its brightness. For the middle windows, I first applied a light yellow, but it didn't create enough brightness. So I used white watercolor, very dry, and softened the edges. At the same time, I added darker layers to the upper and lower windows to make the brightness of the middle windows stand out more. For the final layer of the sidewall, I painted it with a diluted ultramarine blue, making the upper and lower sections slightly darker. I also used a mix of ultramarine blue and sepia for the bottom of the wall. I darkened the upper part of the sky and blended it smoothly. I added hints of yellow and orange to the lower part, keeping the border between the two soft and subtle. Here, I added some final details using my brush and dry white watercolor. I also went over some faded lines with my dip pen to make them bolder. And that is it. Our painting is complete. Thank you so much for watching and staying with me until the end. If you enjoyed this video, I think you'll like this one too. I'd be so happy if you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Wishing you all the best. Stay creative and inspired.